Yeah. I love my HBCU. And boy, I love it, love it. I love it, love it. I love my HBCU. And man, I hope my team they won. Yeah. I hope my team they won. Yeah. Man, I hope my team they won. I hope my team they won. Yeah. I tune into the HBCU Sports Lab to see if my team won or lost. If they lost, I'm quiet as a mouse. But if they won, keep tab. I'ma do the dab, yeah. Dr. Cavil, he know what he be talking about. Mike and Charles, they know what they be talking about. They compress the analytic data with the hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they won or lost, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gonna teach a lesson.
Welcome to episode 641 of Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. This is the Indy Report, and I have today the two brothers from the HU Power Ship. I have Jeffrey Johnson and I have Tariq Wilson. Gentlemen, Jeffrey, how you doing, sir?
Oh, well, let me just go ahead and welcome the two new additions to my family.
God bless you, sir. Congratulations, but God bless. God, better you than me. How about
you
that?
You look like you got two new ones.
You sure do. Behind you definitely does.
Man. So Zuri Carter Primus Johnson and Chimamanda May Primus Johnson. Those two.
Right.
Yeah. So I've been out of the loop, man. So I'm only going to be here just kind of start it off, you know. So, but,
all right. We know, look, you're a busy guy. Like, you're the second one of the crew with twins, and I do not envy neither one of you gentlemen one bit.
No, sir.
Mr. Wilson, how you doing, sir?
Oh, man. I'm doing well. You know, it's in the throes of the AAU season is kicking off. So, you know, I'm coaching 14U, so that's my life right now outside of work and sleep. So.
Oh, wow, man. That is God's work right there, my man.
It is. Man. You gotta love it though. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. You know, I competed this week for the first time in a while in my tournaments, and I did pretty well on Monday. I went and watched my tape during my lunch break today. You know, I had my kind of guy. I hate watching myself play fighting games because then I start seeing all the mistakes, and it's just so.
Yeah.
But I have to do it. I got to figure out what happened. I got on stream a couple times last night on Monday night, so it was a pretty good tournament. Placed fourth, almost made top 3. But you know, and can't complain. So you know, it's about that time. I'm going to a major in May, so I gotta get it rocking. So it's looking good so far. All right, sweet, so let me roll through the intro. Welcome to episode 641 of Inside the HBCU Sports Lab radio show and podcast, the show that's covering the sporting HBCU diaspora, all things HBCU sports for institutions large and small, from the NAIA to the NCAA. We share insights and information on the HBCU sports culture and HBCU athletic aesthetics to facilitate the story of HBCU's athletic programs and the business of HBCU sports. I am your host, David L. Rhodes, along with my co-host, Jeffrey Johnson and Tariq Wilson. We are filming from our home studios and sending the signal live to our KCOH 12:30 a.m. studios with the Texas Radio Hall of Famer Ralph Cooper in the beautiful home of Texas Southern University from Houston, Texas. Gentlemen, normally around this time, we'll ask about some of the news you heard today, but I really want your perspective on some things and since we're only going to probably have Jeff on for one segment, I want to kind of get right into it. Mm-hmm. For those who have not been aware, St. Francis has decided to go from Division I to Division III. And they made it primarily an academic decision. And so my question to the panel tonight will be, do you think HBCUs are going to look at this with pause? How do you think that could potentially affect the decision when it comes to opting in or opting out? Because I just recently read that is not going to the opt-in period has now been extended to June. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious to know what is your perspective on that decision and whether or not how that could impact HBCUs potentially on some of the tough decisions that they might have to make down the pipe within the next couple months.
Mm. You can go first on that, Reed.
Well, I still have not gotten a clear answer about whether or not opting in or opting out, how it benefits a college. So why I know Hampton's opted in because the CAA has decided to, or they kind of had like a gentle person's agreement to do it. But I understand why. I don't understand the economic. But so do you understand? Well, maybe that'll help me inform my decision. But
Well, so some of it is about revenue sharing. And we know, like right now, when you talk about a conference like the CEA, who has some pretty good institutions in it, from that standpoint, that does have money, but not on like P4 money. I don't think the revenue sharing is going to be that large if we even get to that point. But I also think it's also about having the roster limits. The roster limits changes things a little bit, and things of that sort. But it ultimately gives you an opportunity to, like, pay the players directly, so to
Yeah.
speak. And it's supposedly supposed to absolve you from like different types of lawsuits, but I don't know how accurate that is from that standpoint. But I think part of the reason why I think St. Francis made that decision was partly due to, you got to decide if you want to compete with the big boys.
Yeah.
So, because I think that, and this is just my perspective on it, I think that's going to be the catalyst of it all. Otherwise, you're just going to always have a bad rotation of players, so to speak. Since we're in baseball season, you got a bad rotation of players that's going to come and go constantly. You're not going to have no level of stability. So I just think it's going to be fascinating to see what path certain HBCUs go. Now, granted, while the CAA as a conference agreed, we already had one that have already announced that they're going to delay a year. William & Mary decided to delay until 2026.
Yeah.
Before they opt in. So they're going to be opting out for the first year. They're doing a wait and see approach, and I can respect that, right? There's some schools that are going to do wait and see. A&T opted in. Before the CAA made the announcement, they made it clear to their alumni that they were planning on opting in. So
okay, go ahead, Jeff. But I have a larger thought on this whole thing. But
Yeah.
I'll go after you.
I mean, my question is all of this sustainable? Primarily for the smaller fish in the pond. I mean, I'm cool with opting in. I understand why we're opting in. I know that Hampton has put, I would say, everything in place for us to be successful. I'm with opting in. There is a concern because could the costs, override, what the production is, So, there is, it's like for the little guys, what is the merit or what do we get, as compared to as we know what the big guys get, we're seeing it in the tournament now. So it's like, what's in it for us,
You talk about the big guys. Somebody tweeted a picture of the teams that are in the Sweet 16, but they did it by the 5 starting players for each team in the Sweet 16 and the schools that they started in. And let's just say 3 out of the 16 teams had 4 out of the 5 people that started at the same school they're currently at.
Yep.
Everybody else is scattered all over the place.
Yeah.
I believe it was Purdue. I think Purdue, Michigan State, and Duke were the only 3 that had at least 4 starters out of their 5 starting at that same institution.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's fascinating to watch it, and I've always said it's going to ultimately come down to what's best for the institution, and the decision is going to have to be made at leadership of whether or not they really want to get into this game. And I think it also ultimately boils down to they need to understand what the game is.
True.
I think that's going to probably be the biggest challenges when we talk about our institutions from this standpoint. Because I was reading reports about what happened with St. Francis, and I guess alumni did not want to go to D3, but the administrator said, we're still going up. We don't care. In essence. Like they were offering to help and do NIL and collectives and all that. And they were like, nah, we good. We're gonna head back to where these scholarships don't exist.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. My only concern is I think athletics always brings alumni together, primarily at HBCUs, I just don't see, folks at maybe like a Grambling or another big program, coming together on homecoming to watch Mount Vesuvius. I don't know. I'm just making up a D3 name. That's not going to work. We want
I
to.
mean, a lot of times we have a habit of some schools do have UL and Lincoln University, California as a homecoming opponent, so maybe they would.
I mean, that a homecoming opponent, but like just a regular season game against Fort Union. I'm making up names. Port Bend, Utah Community, University. That's not going to work. I mean, or seeing the big gargantuan D1 players now look like junior high school kids. So that's not going to work either. So I mean, that's just more on the comical side, but I think for the larger institutions, I would rather, them stay where they are if it's economically feasible. But for the ones like the St. Augustines, who,
They need to, so they got to make. They got bigger decisions. They got a bigger decision they got to make at that institution right now. Unfortunately.
So no, I just think just on a whole level, I would just say that if I would rather opt in, kind of see where it goes. And you know what? Hey, we might have a situation where we might get lucky and strike fire and get a couple of, kids that, just transfer into, Hampton and A&T and give us a 1 year good run, which we could cash in on that. That's what I think everybody's kind of banking on. Just give us four guys in there that I don't care if they, just stay with us for 1 full year. No, not even a year, a semester. Well, basketball is 2 semesters, but stay with us for 2 semesters. Play, you can play, do whatever you do, then you can go. But we got what we got, and you guys got what you got. It's a even exchange.
Yeah, so shout out to Eye of the Watcher. Yeah, man, Morgan State is definitely opting in. And I'm also, and we've had this discussion before, and then after this, we'll probably need to go to break. I'm also fascinated regarding conferences where you're going to have teams that opt in and teams that are going to opt out. Like, I don't know how that's going to work. At some point, the conference is going to have to make a decision on what the rules are going to be for everybody. I don't know if that's even plausible. Like, I think that's why I kind of appreciated the uniformity of the CAA, even with William and Mary deciding to hold off a year. I appreciate the uniformity of it all. So at least, everybody's kind of being even on the playing field from that standpoint.
Yeah. I think that my dream, I think we talked about this many, many years ago, Jeff. Like I wouldn't mind if all HBCUs kind of like did their own thing, like drop down to something that is economically feasible. And it could be D2, it could be D3, and we kind of like do something that makes sense for us.
Yeah.
Because many of us, it's hard to win, it's hard to finance these things, all the hoops that we have to go through. So if we all did something collectively, I would be perfectly fine with that. But here's why. Because there are still some schools that are adding football and are adding more Olympic sports. And y'all know why. To
Why
attract
is that?
dudes, to the school.
Oh, yeah. True.
No, because I mean, especially at our schools, with the ratios of where they are, they need that football team brings 100 guys to the campus.
True.
Yep.
True.
So some schools have, that's the reason. It ain't even about the, so it's complicated. But I would like to see us all do something collectively that makes sense, and where we can be competitive. And if it's dropping down, I'd be fine with it. I would.
Oh, yeah. I'd be fine with it. I definitely feel that I would love to see more. If we do it, I would love to see all of us drop down, but we're not getting those players. So my thing is, would the interest in the sports be similar? Because
I mean, the best and folks can disagree all they want. The best conference out of the HBCU conferences is in Division II, and that's the CIAA.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Are we talking
So
basketball?
so when you well, period. Yeah. Like basketball, they're king, and it's not even a debate. Like they get revenue at the Division I level from that aspect.
Yeah,
but
true.
Like as a conference, when you talk about a history of a conference, the strongest one in the bunch is the CIAA.
Yeah.
And that's and that's no shade to any other. It's no shade to the SWAC, the MEAC, or the SIAC. It's just
you know what? I think the SIAC in football does a very pretty comparable job to the CIAA. But no, CIAA is definitely king in basketball. So.
Mm-hmm.
So, and no, it's just going to be interesting, man. Like you should be. I just want to let you guys know before we go to break. You guys should be thrilled that you're not on Twitter.
Oh yeah, what's going?
What happened?
I don't know why people subjecting themselves to that, man. I just.
What happened on Twitter now? What do you say? What
There's
happened
been
now?
so much speculation about what's been going on regarding teams in the MEAC, and that's all it is right now is speculation. So
please.
What's the most speculative statements going on out there?
I am so tired of this. Please,
let's go to break and come back.
Yeah, I'd love to hear.
I'm staying for this one.
Yeah.
All right, we'll come to break. I know you got to deal with two chillins. So
no,
we'll go
actually,
to break.
Hold on. Let me go ahead and say this. My children are in the NICU, so because we're about they're 2-3 weeks early, so they got to gain a little weight. But,
okay.
Yeah, so they're fine. So
all right, so we're gonna take a break. When we come back, I'll talk some of the gossip, but even though I think I'm not gonna believe anything till people actually does action, but we'll go into a little bit. We'll be back after this break. Episode 641 inside HBCU Sports Lab.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down. It's like a loop machine.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Sonia from She Say Sports. Make sure to check us out every Friday morning at 9 a.m. on Black College Sports Network, YouTube, and Linktree. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page.
Press the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome back to episode 641 of Dr. Phil's Inside HBCU Sports Lab. This is the Indy Report. So yeah, man, like I said prior to the break, man, y'all should be thrilled that y'all ain't on Twitter no more. It's been kind of wacky. With regards to what's going on with the MEAC. There's thoughts that there's let me be clear when I say this. This is all rumors and innuendo. This is speculation. I don't have any accuracy to whether or not this is true or not, but I guess there's just been supposing there's discussions about some teams considering leaving the conference right now. And for me, I'm like, well, you know, it's kind of good that a lot of the folks who run the conference, who our presidents of the particular institutions, don't really hop on social media like that, because it's been kind of crazy for the past couple of days regarding all this. Like
who it is.
I haven't been on MEAC Fan Zone in a little bit, so go ahead, do tell.
Yeah.
School down the road, South Carolina State.
Where they going? Where they going?
Y'all act like y'all run off
Big
the
South?
plantation, and then it's like
that was one. Like I was one thought. SoCon was one thought, and I'm thinking to myself, guys, I don't, like.
I'm not gonna like it there. I mean,
I don't know what they're gonna like. I'm hoping that the MEAC flourishes. Like, I'm rooting for them to flourish. Like, I understand how some folks feel about some of the leadership there, but I'm hoping that they flourish. But at the same time, like, it's, you gotta, I've always said this when it came to like decision making and things of that sort. When Hampton and A&T made the decision to leave, have they ever had the discussion point about why? Or FAMU Bethune as well. I mean, they left as well. But
they left. Yeah. Go ahead.
So like, but like, it's just I always have that discussion point, and I don't know if it's due to the current climate and everything that's been going on with NIL, and now they got to make some tough decisions when it comes to cost. I have no idea. Like I said, it's speculating, but I just think that, whenever something comes on the internet and then something hits social media, it grows like wildfire, and it's always understandable. And understandable why some people decide to stay away from it.
You know what, man? I want you know what? Go ahead, go. Just go to Southern Conference, go to the Big South or Ohio Valley, go and then watch. You're gonna miss the MEAC within one game. So
What would those schools have to gain? Like, if you're South Carolina
nothing.
State, why do you want to go play Furman and the Citadel every year? Why do you
Well,
want to march into those gyms?
I mean, the
Why?
only reason that I would think, and I'm obviously just thinking, obviously it's just my opinion, it would be a cost cutting measure, right? Like, it probably for them, it probably would make from a cost cutting standpoint. But then I would argue, well, no, because even in the Big South, it wouldn't really help because you got the Big South OVC ordeal until 2030. So that ain't really a option.
Yeah.
So, but but it's just like, if they're worried about the conference breaking apart, I don't know if that would make sense. Like, I saw some people are saying go to the SWAC, but if you're trying to cut costs, is that really cutting costs?
No, it's not.
It's not. So but if that's one of the reasons why you do it, right?
Is this a travel expenditure that they're talking about?
No, it's more. I think it boils down to there's some folks that aren't fans of the leadership in the conference, but I think folks got to remember that it boils down to the chancellors. The chancellors and the presidents make the decisions. They're the ones. The commissioner works for the chancellors and the presidents, so it's kind of ultimately the chancellors and the presidents that make the calls when it comes to what they want out of the conference. So that's kind of more on the leadership.
What do they want her to do that she's not doing?
I mean, I think they probably feel like that there's no vision and things of that. Like, I know, I mean, I got some of the reasons why A&T made a decision to leave. So, I mean, part of it was the lack of division. Part of the reason is that they want things to change a little bit.
Like, what do they want to change? Like, do they want, like, what you want? More money, more sponsorship,
better media deal, more sponsorships? Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's probably part of it.
Like, if you think about it, it's just a collective. First of all, a lot of these programs represent, the MEAC as a collective. What have you done to boost the collective? That's what I want to tell you.
What are you selling as a school? What are you selling? Like, if you are a media partner, why are you buying? And it's no shade at all. Why are you buying? Why are you buying Central and Coppin State? What are you buying? No shade. Like, what's the sell? What is she selling?
Yeah. How can you sell Coppin State? And they better not be talking. How can you sell Maryland Eastern Shore? And they better not be talking. You can sell North Carolina Central. You can sell
Howard.
You definitely sell Howard.
So Howard, you could sell Morgan's the third largest HBCU in the country. You can sell Morgan.
You can sell those.
You have strong brands. You have major media markets. You should be able to sell that.
Well, it sounds like they probably need to get on the ones who ain't selling. Like Delaware State, what we doing over here?
I think it's gonna be fascinating to see the Deshaun Jackson experience at Del State. I'm kind of fascinated to see how that's gonna go.
It's gonna be fascinating either way. No matter how it goes.
I have a take. I think Del State's probably gonna end up in a better situation than Norfolk when this is all said and done. That's tough. You must know something I don't know.
Mike Vick bringing in like scab players from Hampton that never played. That is gonna
He
be.
just filled out the roster.
He done filled his roster out with players that ain't even make the roster at Hampton, man. Woo! Good luck to him.
Why is the MEAC getting sued over the video game tournament? So
Oh,
you know what's funny, man? I've been covering this story for a while. I've been covering this story for a while, and it ultimately boils down to, I guess, when they had the tournament, the basketball tournament a few years ago, they didn't pay the players. Ultimately, from what I understand, they didn't play the players. And so
Were they supposed to?
Yes, they were supposed to. Yes, they were supposed to. To the point where the previous year, the players boycotted. Like they because they didn't get paid for the previous year, the players boycotted and decided not to come. I think only Maryland Eastern Shore showed up, so they were the champions. But then and how I got wind of it was I was picking on my partner. Shout out to Markham Banks, who does a show with me on MD on Thursday nights. I was picking on my partner because he's the Morgan State grad and talked about how there's another championship you can't win. You can't even win esports. And then the next thing I know, I get tweets from players from Morgan State and players from Howard. When you got those two agreeing, saying that they didn't get paid, then yeah. So then that's when I knew something was up. Then I started doing some digging and learned that they weren't compensated, and
so this is my thing. It's like, I think sometimes leadership is always slow to grasp the new trends, primarily HBCUs,
Well, to go back to the esports thing, right? As somebody that is involved in the esports program at A&T, I could tell you right now that I think that's the biggest challenge when you get into esports, right? I think a lot of our folks, our leadership, because I want to be fair, right? Because I know folks are like, oh, you're just going to no. I'm going to be fair. I think A&T getting it off the ground was good, but I think now that they got it off the ground, I don't think they fully understand what esports is.
Yeah.
And I think because of their lack of understanding about what esports is going to potentially crumble. Yeah. Because the reality is the students don't really need them to have the program. They could do it on their own because they've been doing it on their own since I was a student.
Yeah.
They can organize their own tournaments. They can do all that without the logo. And I think our institutions have to embrace it and understand what it is, because there's big money in it if you want to go after it, because there's a lot of talent on that campus.
Yeah.
A&T had the #1 Madden player in the country on the campus.
And why hasn't the school?
Man, what his grades look like, man?
His grades are phenomenal. Most gamers have pretty good grades. It's kind of like band.
Wow. Okay. As long as he got good grades, I'm cool.
No, he's got good. He graduated. No, he graduated. No, but he I mean, there's some really good players on the yard, and there always has been, because you can, and it's easier to get better faster. That's what you want to do if you got the passion to do it.
And it's always some sort of old dude, man. These kids over here playing these video games. He can't make no money.
Hey, that's almost me.
No. I mean, kid over there playing. They don't know nothing about that. It's like those people got to go. You've been in the institution for 50 years. Leave.
It's a hard sell, man. I mean, I don't. I play, but I don't understand how it relates to college campuses. So
it's funny.
Yeah.
When
somebody just lay it out for me, I could do it. But
it's funny when I went to because I was doing all these college tours, and we went to the University of Buffalo in Buffalo, New York, and they showed us the esports area. And let me tell you guys something, man. And like they have I guess they got they have a Smash Brothers team, which is like a fighting game with Nintendo characters. They had a Smash Brothers team that ain't lost a game in 3 years.
Stop.
And the way that the room's set up is based on your studies. If your grades fall, you're not allowed in. You have a limit of how much you can play, and they got a phenomenal area. I mean, a phenomenal area, and it's always packed. It was packed when we walked through it. So and there's during finals you can't play in there. It's set up nice, PCs pristine.
Yeah.
But I just think that when you talk about, I think we're leaving money on the table. I really do. I think we're leaving money on the table.
Yeah.
I know Howard and Morgan had Call of Duty teams that took home close to $100,000 a piece.
Yeah.
For a weekend's worth of work. So I think if we don't if we don't take the time to, even if it's a situation where you think it's just a matter of leadership not knowing, not knowing and understanding what it means, it doesn't hurt to listen to people who do.
Agreed.
And I think that's been the biggest challenge from that standpoint. And that includes within the conference too. So like, I think if you're not good at something and you got people that are willing to help and understand what the landscape is, listen to them.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, just that's where I'm at when it comes to it. And I think that's the biggest challenge right now in my alma mater. Like they hired somebody in the room and they're not listening to them.
Yeah, that's a lot of HBCUs. A lot of them. So.
You know, and I think at that point you're not just impacting the workers, you're also starting to impact the students.
Absolutely.
We had championship teams and they couldn't even play some of their seasons this year because the university got in their own way.
Pretty much.
So, so for me that makes it discouraging from that standpoint, just to be fair. But Johnny Thornton is I mean, I don't know how accurate it is, but I don't think nobody's leaving that conference anytime. Going back to what was going on with me, I don't think nobody's leaving that conference anytime soon.
I mean, I would say don't judge what Hampton A&T did. Definitely don't judge us by it. I mean, no, I'm not saying it in a bad way.
It's the way you said it, man.
Right.
Whether you said it in a bad way or not, it was the way you said it. It was definitely don't judge us.
We went to the Big South and we stunk up the Big South. We didn't win nothing in there.
Y'all didn't win no championships while you were in there?
Nope.
The toilet bowl.
Y'all won track, didn't you? Y'all won track while y'all was in the Big South.
Nah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we didn't win nothing in there. Only thing that I would say, the only bit of success that we had was we were third in football and we went to the Big South final tournament game.
I remember when y'all did that. That was a crazy run y'all did in the tournament.
That verse went through. So that was the most success that we had there. And then when, change the AD came in and you saw some success now. So, yeah. But, I just think more like, because they're looking at, oh, man, Hampton looking good, A&T looking good. Yeah, we are, but I don't
we're in a good place. I mean, the championships are starting to show up.
Yeah,
we're A&T got A&T got 2 in the CAA. They got two in the MEAC right now,
Yeah, we're in a good place. But, I mean, Del State, you ain't going to be in a good place if you come into the CAA, I mean, maybe in bowling or something? Whoever got that bowling team, but
I mean, it's funny because the bowling brackets came out today. A&T won the MEAC title. They won the regular season and they won the tournament. So they got the at-large bid for the MEAC. MEAC didn't get 2 teams this year, crazy enough. So A&T scheduled to play Louisiana Tech this weekend.
Ooh, okay.
So it should be interesting. Out in Rochester. I wish I had the bandwidth to get out there, but that's a long ride, bro. It's like a 5-hour ride. I don't know if I'm a.
Well, let me ask you a question. A question then. Which MEAC school is in a good position to move to their nearest conference? Like, be competitive, be full-fledged members to wherever they're going.
That's
Howard.
a good one. That's
Howard.
A good one. You say Howard.
Howard could go. Howard could go to the CAA and be competitive in track.
Yeah.
Be competitive in volleyball.
Yeah.
Be competitive in softball.
Yeah.
Football's gonna take some time.
I don't think
basketball. There could be. I think they'll be competitive in basketball a little bit too.
Yeah. I don't think softball. Have you seen their softball facility?
They have one? I'm serious. I didn't even know where they play.
They don't.
They got a pretty good team though.
It's a park across the street from the school.
That one. That's where they play.
Swimming. They would win the CAA in swimming.
Oh, yeah. You seen their pool?
Look, man, they out here killing in the NEC. Like I don't know. They winning in the NEC. So
I watched the softball game. I watched it while I do my little job. It's right across the street from where I used to live, man. Them junkies be out there cheering too. So I don't think the CAA program would like to be in that softball park after dark. Go ahead.
Oh Lord, have mercy. Here you go.
I'm keeping it real.
No, well, first of all, we got a super chat. So shout out to Johnny Thornton for the super chat. Really appreciate it, my man. The school down the road would be competitive in football,
Yeah.
but that'll be it. That's the list. Like I don't like. I mean, basketball maybe the men's side,
Yeah.
and that's it. Norfolk
Yeah.
will be competitive in men's and women's basketball. They would probably the women would have won CAA this year. You can't convince me otherwise.
Rough shot.
They would win. They would have won the CAA this year. I would not.
Easy.
South Carolina State. Their basketball program has turned it around a bit, but I don't know if I'm not ready to say they're ready to go.
Man,
the women, they got to get a new coach for women's program.
We would have to defend South Carolina State all the time.
The tennis team would be dope though. Their tennis team is good. South Carolina State tennis. Oh yeah, their tennis team is rock solid.
Let's look at facilities like in North Carolina and South Carolina. Like, A&T, pretty good, but look at Charleston Southern, Elon, Wilmington. I mean, these schools fund their stuff.
College of Charleston. They were paying their head coach, I think, millions of dollars, if I recall correctly. They were paying their basketball coach millions of dollars. So they're not
almost
a
pro stadium. Like South Carolina got some work to do, man, to South Carolina State.
Yeah. I mean the visitor side need work, but that's in basketball. And football, as football, in basketball they play at a rec center. So, it's
right. I mean, they need some work.
And
it's nice. It's just a rec center.
And to piggyback on what the watcher is saying, for the schools in North Carolina, the state schools, you have to get approved by the UNC system to change conferences now. Like it's not a matter of letting it go through the board. So if they wanted to leave the conference, it's got to get approval from the UNC system. Now you can question whether or not it was just rubber stamp it, but you never know with the UNC system. They're unpredictable. You don't know. I mean, it's a safe assumption, but you don't know.
Yeah.
So that's something where there's a level of politics that's going to have to be played. It's not a situation where the bot can just make the decision and go in the state of North Carolina. That's not the case. If A&T wants to leave conferences, they got to get approved by the board. School down the road want to leave conferences, same thing. They got to get approved by the UNC system, not just their own board of trustees. Mm-hmm. They got to go through two lines to get the approval. So even if the board of trustees at that particular institution says, yes, we want to move to a conference, the UNC system can say, no, you're not. You're staying right where you are.
And that applies to all of them.
All 16 of them. So if UNC Wilmington wants to go to a different conference, go to the A10, they got to get approved by the UNC system. Okay. If UNCG wants to leave the SoCon to go to the CAA or wherever they want to go to the Big South, they got to get approved by the board.
Fayetteville State want to leave and go.
They got to get approved by the board.
They
got to get approved by the UNC system board. They got to get through their bot first. Which, if that's what they want to do, that's what they'll let it go to the board. But it's got to get approved by the board. Winston-Salem State, same thing. There's 16 UNC systems, and I believe 5 are HBCUs, if I recall correctly.
Interesting.
So just an FYI for folks who don't know that in the state of North Carolina, they passed that law I think a year or so ago.
Gotcha.
Well, it was in their bylaws, so to speak. So just keep that in mind. So when we always have this speculation about who's gonna go where, blah blah blah, it's not cut and dry. In North Carolina, it's a little bit different. It's gonna take more.
Gotcha.
But anywho, man, all right, we're gonna go to break. We ain't really talked too much sports.
Something good. That was a good one though.
Yeah, we'll do our last break, and then when we come back, we can talk about. I know you got to run.
Yeah, man, gotta go see them two girlies.
As you should. All right, congratulations again. When we come back, I guess we'll talk about some women's basketball. We had a couple that played in the postseason. Let's see if some of you guys, if you watched it. But we'll be right back. This is episode 641 of Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab.
Let's face it, shopping for insurance can be time-consuming. That's why when it comes to your auto, home, and life insurance needs, make things simple and trust the experts at Allstate. They will help you get the coverage that fits your needs while helping you bundle your life, home, and auto policies. Bundling saves you money, sure, but it also saves you time, so you can enjoy the things that matter most even more. Contact me, Tammy Haynes, your local agent, for a free personalized insurance quote. Allstate, are you in good hands?
There's a shot.
Shot that might be. It could be.
Right field. Grand slam. What a shot. That's how you get hot, young fella.
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do, and all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food? Like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
Oh, we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, authentic Caribbean cuisines.
Open up the door, tell your mama hungry.
The Cavil Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cavil.
Compress the analytic data with your hip hop. If you know them like I know them, they gon' tell you if your team, if they wanna lose, and who the ball. So listen to Professor, yes sir, and pay attention, cause he gon' teach a lesson.
Welcome back to Dr. Cavil's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab. I know that Jeffrey Johnson's got to go see his new chillins, his twins. Nothing wrong with that. I'm here with Tariq Wilson. So I got a question for you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Have you watched any postseason play from the ladies?
None from the HBCUs.
None?
Sorry, you know what? Any basketball that I've watched has really been accidental, except for the opening days of the tournament.
Okay.
Because, like I said, I'm either in it. It's tournament time for me, so I'm like in the gyms all day. I was in tournament Saturday, Sunday. Yes, I'm sad to say. Yeah.
So the question I have, so it looks like all of our lady HBCUs, they got opportunities to enter the WNIT, the WBIT, and it looks like everybody has officially gone home. Coppin State lost a close one last night to Cleveland State in overtime. Howard, on Monday, played College of Charleston. I watched some of that game. College of Charleston was, oh my goodness, man. They pretty much dominated for the most of the game. I'm pretty sure that game went wire to wire. They pretty much led the whole game from beginning to end, ended up winning by 20. Nowadays we're getting more postseason opportunities, and now you have the Black College Invitational Championship out in Charlotte. So I'm hoping, and I've talked to Joshua Sims Senior about this. I'm hoping that they're going to have the Division I programs doing it next season. But overall, what are your thoughts with regards to HBCUs in the tournament, all the postseason tournament opportunities? Do you think we're at the point where it's going to be a situation where we're not going to get as many opportunities in a lot of these other postseason bids? Like, I know it went up for the ladies this year because this year we had 4 that went into the WNIT.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like, especially looking at Norfolk State ladies team, I mean, we can be good. That's one thing now with this portal and the glut of high school players. Like, you can get talent. So our players will have some talented teams every year. It's just when we get there, we got to win. That's the hard part. But I think that trend will continue because the big schools they can't get all at least initially. We can get some just follow Norfolk State's path. You can get some good players, but I just think we got to make it count. That's been the harder part for me.
Yeah, so like a lot of folks learned about the WBIT this year because A&T got into the tournament this year. But basically, yes, you're correct. You're correct, Edwin. They jumped the WNIT from a priority standpoint. So if you are a regular season champion and you don't make the NCAA tournament, you get an automatic bid into the WBIT. The reason why the SWAC was not there this year was because their tournament champion, and same goes for the MEAC, their regular season champion won the tournament. So they went to the NCAA tournament. Second place don't get a slot in the WBIT. Only the regular season champion does. So A&T went because they won the regular season. They didn't make the NCAA tournament, so they go there. Stony Brook was there last year for the CAA because they got the auto bid. So it'll be, I don't know how the attendance was in WBIT. The other thing about the WBIT too is the first four out of the NCAA tournament are the 1 seeds. And the CAA has had to run into one of the first 4 teams. Like last year, Stony Brook ran into one of them, and they ended up winning their first game. And this year, A&T ran into Virginia Tech, and they had their opportunities to try to keep it interesting, but the game ended up getting out of hand by the end of the first half. I don't know what the attendance numbers were for the WBIT. I mean, Virginia Tech, they had a pretty decent fan base that was at that game when A&T played when I watched it. Because I only watched it to see how the ladies would do, because that was going to be Jordan Dorsey's last game. And shout out to her. She became the first Aggie to get 400 assists. And we got a special guest, man. He got away from his twins long enough. Mr. King, how you doing, sir?
What's going on? I wouldn't go that far.
Oh man. Hey, you okay back there, man? I see a crutch.
That's old. I'm off the crutches now. I just got the brace on.
All right.
Yeah, he's gone through all the injuries and the surgeries, man. He's good to go now.
Hopefully.
Hey, I just been there. I'm hoping for you.
Hopefully, it's not something I have to go through again.
Yeah, look, man. Biggest fear is freaking tearing something where I got to be on a crutch for a long period of time.
Yeah, you don't want to do it. I've been through the ACL twice.
Oh no!
And that was on the left knee, and then this last one was on my patella.
Oh, what are you doing, man? You just walking around? What are you doing?
So the first one it happened on the court, but at the time I wasn't completely sure because I could still play. So what ended up happening is I played on a torn ACL and meniscus for like 6 months before I really realized one night that I was like, something's really wrong with my knee. And so I went to the doctor, and he was like, your knee, it looks like a snow globe, brother. Your knee is all torn up. So they had to go in and do that repair. The surgery took an hour and a half longer because it was so much bone fragmentation in there. They had to clean that out. They had to shave down part of my fibula and my tibia because it was just pieces of bone everywhere. So it was flakes, even on the surface of the bone. So that was like a 3.5 hour surgery. And then the next time, I just twisted the wrong way lifting, and I saw my knee like it sunk down. It was like, oh Lord, what happened? So, and then this third time, it was just lifting. It was just, I got really bad luck. I got these Jabari Parker knees, so shout out to Jabari Parker.
After throwing him on the belt about his knees, okay. So, did you watch any women's basketball, sir?
So
on the
I was
HBCU
on
side
this past week, as you know. So
you ain't thinking about none of that. You missed all the MEAC rumors, everything. You missed everything.
I've been playing catch up, so I know about the Larry Vickers stuff.
Yeah, so we didn't even talk about that. So, shout out to him, man, for getting the gig at Auburn, man. It's really cool to see somebody go from HBCU to the SEC. That is awesome.
I think they've got him a really good one.
I'm curious to see how long they're gonna give him. They better give him long enough to do what he needs to do. Auburn was not a good program.
Nah, what were they like? I think it was like 3-13.
3-13 in conference. They were not a good program. Or 3-15,
we
something like that.
got to work miracles when we get in there. So,
I mean, I think he's gonna do well. I just, it boils down to the time. It always comes down to time when it comes to that type of stuff. When it comes to that, so I'm happy for Coach Vickers, man. He did what he had to do. He was dominant in the MEAC. And I'll remind you. Did you know that they won their MEAC games by an average of 30 points in conference?
I didn't know it was that much, but I can believe
know that.
Yeah, like that's how good they were last year, man. They were last season. They were good. They were ridiculous this year.
Awesome.
Yeah, so shout out to him. Like I'm rooting for him. I know a lot of folks feel the way about Auburn, but I'm rooting for him. I hope we can turn that program around. And he got a nice little raise to boot. I think he's getting double or triple his play.
Yeah.
So shout out to him in regards to that. So yeah, you're catching up. So yeah, you missed all the MEAC speculation.
Yeah, you got what else did I miss out on?
Oh, we just talked about it. They talking about teams leaving the conference. And I'm like, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
I'd be surprised if that was the case. That seems like that's always the rumor.
It is. It's every year. It's like a cycle.
Especially in the off season. Like basketball is kind of over, football.
Yeah,
over.
basketball over. Nobody watching baseball because some of their teams their schools ain't got baseball teams, so they just start to. Oh man, it's time for the toss about what the MEAC is going to do. Are they going to add any teams? Are they not? Are they going to lose any teams?
So it's like we need something to talk about. Let's see who's leaving.
Yeah, let's see who's leaving. That speculation was hot and heavy, man. I was hearing about it all week, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm fascinated to see if what I always say is June 30th is always the key date. You know what's real and what's not on June 30th. If no teams get added, if no teams leaves, that's the date you look at. That's when they got to let them know a year prior of the fiscal year, of the league year, of when you're gonna go. So June 30th.
You got some time.
Yeah, June 30th. June 30th, you know all the answers to your questions. If July 1st rolls around and you ain't got no announcement, no graphics from another conference, welcome this team to the blah blah blah, then it's business as usual.
Yep.
Well, business as usual. Celebration Bowl gonna happen. Everything.
I find it's portal time, transfer portal time.
Oh my God,
Lord!
I think we've lost like 10 players at A&T on the men's side. We lost one.
Yeah.
We lost one young lady on the women's side to the portal.
We kept the guys. I mean, I was hoping that we would keep Richard Goods. I wanted to keep Goods on the men's side. Goods, Unique, Beal, and Johnson. So far we're keeping Unique and Johnson. But Beal, man, he could play in high level D1, so I'm sure he's getting some offers. But yeah, on the women's side, I think they could turn over the whole roster.
I'm gonna tell you something, man. On the men's side for A&T, we knew the three young men that got suspended indefinitely. We knew they weren't coming back. But when Lamont went into that portal, man, and then when Cheetah Kudus went to the portal, the Greek guy, the guy from Greece, the first thing I said was, if we're gonna lose this many players every single year, I got questions about whether or not this is the direction we want to go. Because now he's going to be rebuilding the roster for the third year in a row as the coach.
Yeah.
Right. So now I got different questions at this point. So for me, on the men's side, I'm very concerned about that because I don't think none of those student athletes are going to be returning. On the women's side, there's one young lady that hopped into the portal. She was a freshman. She just couldn't get into the rotation, man. And so it was tough. It was a pretty big recruit for us at the time. But, one thing I've learned nowadays, if these kids don't get to play, they go find somewhere else where they can play. And I can't be mad at a young lady. I can't be mad at a student athlete. That's what they want to do.
No.
But yeah, because we recruited 3 true freshmen. 2 were able to get in the rotation. She just couldn't get into the rotation for one reason or another. So, but she got to walk away with a championship. So congrats to her. Good luck to her. Out to wherever she decides to go. It's going to be fascinating to see how things go with regards to that. But what about Tennessee State, man? How you guys looking? Because I know you guys got full rebuild on the women's side, but what about on the men's side?
Well, with all the attention going to what was going on with the football program, and everybody seeing their brother was hopping in the portal. We had a few on the basketball side, particularly on the men's side. So we lost by a percentage our best 3-point shooter. Lost a solid guard, and then a big man. So far.
Yeah, it's early, man. I mean, the portal just opened up the other day.
To add some more shooting, some more perimeter playmaking, and some size to kind of replace what we've lost on that side. You make it to the semifinals, and you want to try to continue to build on that. But with shooting is with the premium that shooting is now in basketball, to lose your best long range shooter, that could be tough. Considering he's just a freshman and is only going to get better. It's likely that when he plays his best basketball, it likely won't be in the Tennessee State uniform.
I think that's the nature of the beast nowadays, man. Even you had Norfolk State's coach saying that we're pretty much glorified JUCOs now. So I think there's more and more coaches are coming to that reality, and folks are going to have to make decisions on regards to that. You see some of the bigger coaches in the bigger schools are already starting to not want to do it anymore because they're losing the control, that they can't have no consistency about it. If they're because the thing is, it's going to be like the NBA, they can just go work for the NBA. They can just get in where they fit in from that, so to speak.
There's one way to fix that. Contracts.
You could do that way. But even then, I don't know how successful that'll be too. I'm trying to let me get the outro because it's time to close out because ONG Shrek Zone is about to start. So we gotta roll. Any last words before I do the outro, ladies and gentlemen?
Good seeing y'all, brothers. Everybody take care of yourselves. Interesting times.
Oh, you ain't kidding. Stay off of Twitter.
Yeah, I ain't going on that Nazi channel, man. I'm done with that. Done with that.
Anything else, Mr. King?
As I end my videos off, my YouTube videos, check on your people and tell the ones that you love that you love.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Completely agree there. Thank you for listening to Inside HBCU Sports Lab. Make sure you share our podcast with your friends and colleagues. I'm David L. Rhodes with Tariq Wilson and Brandon King. We hope you enjoyed it. We look forward to you next week as we discuss news in the lab. Make sure you follow Dr. Kiana Cavil on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Follow me on Twitter at ChampD1012. Go to HUPowership.com to check out Tariq and Jeff Johnson and the things when it comes to Hampton Athletics. And check out SneakerShopTalk.com with Brandon King. Dream big and continue to move forward. We'll talk to you soon. Reek.
Of course.
Brandon.
Lecture.
Dismissed.